Assalamu alaikum, dear friends and fellows. How are you? Self discipline. The more we know about it, the better it is. The more we talk and write and listen and know about it, it is really good. Because nothing is as important for a good life as this is, which is called self discipline. We are going to say certain things about this self discipline in our today's discussion, which will be definitely very much useful, beneficial for each one of us. So, there are some 8 points regarding the self discipline, and it is important for me, for you to understand what are those important points. Now, let's look upon all that. It is the ability to steer behavior towards values and long term aspiration. Yes, it is, ability to steer behavior towards values and long term aspirations rather than acting on every impulse or desire. It required controlling emotions, putting forth opportunities, and pursue goals. So that is called self discipline. It is very, very important to understand the proper and the technical definition of the self discipline. Let me repeat it. It is ability to steer behavior toward values and long term aspirations rather than acting on every impulse or desire. It required controlling emotions, putting forth opportunities, and pursue goals. So that is the number one thing we need to understand about it. And now the number two is honest self assessment. Honest self assessment areas to target. We need to know what are my weaknesses and what are my strengths. As far my weaknesses are concerned, what kind of threats or what kind of dangers are lurking there for me, because of my weaknesses. As far my strengths are concerned, what kind of opportunities and chances I am availing, I might avail in the future. So that is called, self assessment, an honest self assessment, which is very, very important indeed. Knowing our weaknesses and strengths, that is called the SWOT analysis. Now, the third is that is setting realistic goals, setting smart goals. What are this smart? The smart is comprising the five letters. The first letter S says that it should be specific. The second letter M says it should be measurable. The third letter A says it should be attainable. The fourth letter R says it should be very relevant. And the fifth letter, the final letter T says that it must be time bound. So we must be setting the smart goal, the realistic goal. And now the fourth is that is developing a routine. We need to develop a routine, because developing a routine makes the things much better, makes the things much, much better indeed. Now the fifth is that is the power of habit formation. Indeed, if at all we are trying to form a habit, it will be really great, it will be really beneficial for each one of us. So my dear friends and fellows, that it is the power of habit formation. Now, the next is overcoming challenges and setbacks. The fifth is overcoming challenges and setback. Yes, we need to overcome, and that the self discipline can only make it possible. Now, the sixth point which we need to understand is that tools and resources, the technology aids, the accountability partners, and the information material and sport communities and the books and the podcasts and the communities. So all of these are highly beneficial if at all we want to develop ourselves toward the self discipline. This is something very interesting. Tools and resources. What are the tools and resources available? This is the technology aid. This is the accountability part. partners. This is the informational material and sport communities. Also, we need to read the books, the articles, the podcast, the communities we need to enter, we need to join. So that is the self discipline. The more self disciplined somebody is, I think the better empowered they do feel, and the lesser the self discipline. And now the seventh and the last point is self care and balance to avoid the burnout while we are pursuing the self discipline. It is very important for us to understand that we need to take care of ourselves. We need to develop the habit of self-care. We need to strike a balance between the work and the personal life, between the work and the rest, between the work and the replenishment, and that is the kind of balance which we desperately need. And finally, to avoid all of that is for the purpose of avoiding the burnout. As for this burnout is concerned, definitely it is destructive and we need to avoid it. Let's have a very very quick revision of all these 7 points which are relating to the word, relating to the self discipline. First of all, it is we need to understand what is meant by the self discipline. It is the ability to steer behavior toward values and long term aspirations rather than acting on every impulse or desire. It required controlling emotions, putting forward opportunities, and pursue the goals. Now, the second point, that is honest self awareness. That is honest self awareness, and we need to understand what are my strengths and what kind of opportunities I might get because of my strengths, what are my weaknesses, and what kind of threats will be there lurking, for me. And that is, this is how we can target the areas where we can improve. Now, the third thing we need to understand that is setting realistic goals. What are the realistic goals? These are the SMART goals. What is SMART goal? These are the five letters. S means specific, M mean measurable, A mean attainable, R mean relevant, and the T mean time bound. Now the fourth point that we need to understand, that is we need to develop a routine because it makes the things easier. Now the fifth is that the power of habit formation. We need to understand the power of habit formation. And now the sixth is that is overcoming challenges and setbacks. Now the seventh is tools and resources. We need to understand the tools and the resources. We need to take that technology aids. We need to have accountability partnership with someone suitable. We need to improve. We need the information material. And now, of course, we need sport communities as well. We need to read certain articles and listen the podcast. We need to join the communities. So that is how we can somehow, we can tools and resources available for developing the self discipline. And now the seventh and the last is self care and balance to avoid the burnout. We need to strike a balance in our life so that we are better able to avoid the burnout. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to develop a habit of self care. So all of that things are important for all the people who want to develop the self discipline in themselves. Thank you very much.